welcome to Time Online Classes. So this is your first session in biology, isn't it? Yes. So are you all interested in studying biology? Okay. Some of you might be interested, some of you might not be that interested in studying biology. Anyway, it's okay. We'll make this session very interesting. Okay. So for that I want is that you have to answer every question that I ask you. Okay. Okay. So today we are going to study the chapter Nutrition in Organisms. Okay, this is our first chapter, Nutrition in Organisms. So let me ask you, did you all eat your breakfast today? Okay, what did you eat? Okay, so these are all different food materials which we eat, isn't it? Yes, we eat vegetables, we eat fruits, fishes, meat, then cakes, ice creams. Okay, so we eat different types of food materials, isn't it? Yes. Now, why do we eat these food materials? Why do we eat food? Yeah, we eat food to obtain energy, isn't it? Yes, we eat food to gain energy. Our body needs energy to do different kinds of activities, isn't it? We have to walk, we have to run, we have to study. So to do all these activities, our body requires what? Our body requires energy. Okay? So we eat our food or we consume our food for energy. Okay, so for energy. Now, what is diet? Yeah, the food which an organism consumes is called a diet. The food which is taken in by an organism is called its diet. Okay? Yes. So we consume different kinds of energy and we consume different kinds of food and the purpose of consuming food is to derive energy. Okay, why do we need energy? We need energy to perform different activities. Like we have to play, we have to run, we have to walk, we have to study. For all these we require what? We require energy. Okay. So we eat to consume energy. Okay. Yes. Okay. So every organism derives its energy from the food we eat. Now the food an organism consumes is called diet. Okay. So the food which we consume is called our diet. So the food which an organism consumes is called its diet. Is it clear, students? Okay. So our chapter is nutrition in organisms, isn't it? Yes. What is nutrition? Yeah, the process in which an organism takes in food and gains energy from the food is called what? Nutrition. Okay. So what is nutrition? The process in which an organism takes in food and gain energy from the food is called nutrition. Okay. Yes, so students please note down. Nutrition is a process in which an organism takes in food and gains energy is called energy for survival. Energy for survival. Okay? Yes. So what is nutrition? The process in which an organism takes in food and use this food to produce energy is called nutrition. Okay? Yes. Now, nutrition mainly has 4 steps. That is, intake of food, digestion and absorption of food, using digested food material for body activities, and then waste excretion. Okay, so these are steps of nutrition. And we'll study in detail these steps of nutrition in the coming sessions. Okay? Yes. So, which is the first step? Yeah, intake of food. Intake of food is the first step. What is intake of food? Yeah, the process in which we take in food through our mouth is called intake of food. Okay, the process in which we take in the food through our mouth is called intake of food. Okay? Yes. Now, second step is digestion and absorption of food. What is digestion? Yes, the food which we consume are actually large food material, isn't it? Yeah, they are very large and complex food material. Now, they have to be broken down into smaller and simpler food material, isn't it? Yes, then only we will get energy from those food material. So, this process in which this complex food material is broken down into simple food material, or the process in which large food material is broken down into small food material is called digestion. Okay? It's called digestion. Okay. Now, the digested food material must be used for our body activities, isn't it? Yeah, digested food material must be used to produce energy and this energy must be used for our different body activities. Okay, so that is the third step. Now the last step is waste excretion. That is, every material which we consume are not digestible and they cannot be digested. Some materials cannot be digested and hence they must be removed out of our body, isn't it? Yeah, they are waste materials. They should not be kept in our body. They must be removed out of our body. Okay, and that process is called waste excretion. Okay, so that is waste excretion. Okay, yes. So nutrition includes what? It includes the intake of food, the digestion and absorption of food, the utilization of digested food for body activity, and waste excretion. Is it clear, students? Yes. So please note down, students. Nutrition includes intake of food, digestion and absorption of food, using digested food for body activities, and waste excretion. Okay, is it clear? Okay. So once again, we consume food. Why do we consume food? Yeah, we consume food to get energy. We need energy to perform different activities in our body, so we consume food. Okay. Now, the food which an organism consumes is called its diet. Okay. Yes. Now, what is nutrition? Yeah, it is a process in which an organism takes in food and gains energy from that food is called nutrition. Okay. Yes. Now, nutrition has different steps. First is the intake of food. Then the digestion of food and absorption of food. What is digestion? Yeah, breaking down the complex food material into very simple food material is called digestion. Okay? Yes. And then using the digested food for body activity. And then finally waste excretion. So these are the 4 steps of what? 4 steps of nutrition. Okay? So we'll study these steps in detail in the coming sessions. Okay, students? Okay. So here we have a figure. This figure depicts the difference between an autotroph or a heterotroph. An autotroph and heterotroph. Or it shows the difference between an autotrophic nutrition and a heterotrophic nutrition. Okay? Yes. So we look at this image. So at first you can see a plant, isn't it? There is a plant with blue petals, isn't it? Yes. So there is a plant at the first image. And here the plant is saying, I made this. The plant has prepared its food. The plant has prepared its food from which it gets energy. So that is why it says, I made this. Okay. So here at the first image you can see the plant has prepared its food by its own. So the plant has prepared its food by its own. They did not depend upon any other organisms to prepare their food. Is there any other organisms in the first image? No, there are no other organisms in the first image. So here the plant has prepared their own food from which they get energy. Okay. So those organisms are called autotroph. So what is an autotroph? An autotroph is an organism which can prepare their own food from the sunlight. Okay. So what is an autotroph? It is an organism which can prepare their own food from the sunlight. As you can see in the figure, plant. The plant says, I made this. The plant has prepared its energy and its food. Okay? Yes. Now in the second figure, you can see a deer. You can see a deer here. What did the deer do? Yeah, it ate the plant, isn't it? Yes, it ate the plant. So here you can see the deer. How did the deer get its food? Yes, the deer depend upon the plant for its food. Or the deer has depend upon another organism to gain its energy, isn't it? Yes, so here the deer depends upon another organism which is a plant to get its food or to gain its energy. So that is a heterotroph. So deer is an example of a heterotroph. So what is a heterotroph? It is an organism which depends upon other organisms to obtain food or to obtain energy. Okay, so that is a heterotroph. So this image explains well the difference between an autotroph and a heterotroph. Did you understand, students? Yes, once again I'll tell you, here at the first image you have a flower with the blue petals. It's beautiful, isn't it? Yes. So here the plant is saying, you have a plant with a flower having blue petals. So the plant is saying, I made this. The plant has prepared their food. The plant has prepared their food without depending upon any other organisms. Okay. So that is an example of autotroph. So what is an autotroph? It is an organism who prepares food by their own is called an autotroph. So plant is a very good example of an autotroph. Okay? Yes. Now, in the second image, you can see a deer. What did the deer do? Yeah, the deer, it consumed the plant, isn't it? Yeah, the deer ate the plant. So here, deer depends upon another organisms for its food or for getting its energy, isn't it? So here, the deer depend upon the plant to get its energy. Deer cannot synthesize their own food and they cannot prepare their own food, just like human beings. Can we prepare our own food? No, we can't. We have to depend on plants or animals for our food, isn't it? Yes. So that is a heterotroph. So what is a heterotroph? It is an organism which depends upon other organisms to obtain its food or for its energy. Okay. So is it clear, students? Okay. So there are two types of nutrition, that is autotrophic nutrition and heterotrophic nutrition. So now first of all, autotrophic nutrition. So what is autotrophic nutrition? Yes. Okay. Can you give an example of the organism which undergo autotrophic nutrition? Yes, plants. So plants undergo autotrophic nutrition. Green plants. So green plants undergo autotrophic nutrition. And here what do? Yeah, they prepare their own food. They do not depend upon any other organism for their food. They prepare their own food and they have the ability to prepare their own food. Okay, so that is an autotroph. So a green plant is an example of autotroph, and they what do? Which mode of nutrition do they adopt? Yeah, they have autotrophic mode of nutrition. Okay, so students, please note down. In an autotrophic nutrition, organisms prepare their own food. These organisms are called autotrophs. Example, green plants, some bacteria, etc. Green plants, some bacteria, etc. Okay? Yes. So what are autotrophs? Autotrophs are those organisms which have the ability to prepare their own food. They do not depend upon any other organisms for their food. Okay? Yes. Now, autotrophs are also known as producers of energy. They are also called producers of energy. Why are they called so? Yeah, it's because they can produce their own food. So they have the ability to prepare their own food, and hence they are called producers of energy. Is it clear, students? So please note down. Autotrophs are also known as producers of energy. Okay? Yes. And here, every organism, they depend directly or indirectly on autotrophs for obtaining their energy. For example, we human beings, we eat plants, isn't it? Yes. So we depend directly on these organisms, on these plants for our energy. Then another example, deer. Deer depends on plant, isn't it? Deer consumes plant. So how does deer get the energy? Yeah, deer get the energy from plants. So deer also depends on the plants for their energy. Okay. So every organism, they depend on plants for their energy. Is it clear, students? So please note down. Every organisms depend on plants for their energy. So is it clear? Yes. So what is autotrophic nutrition? Okay, can you give an example of an organism undergoing autotrophic nutrition? Yes, green plants are example of organisms undergoing autotrophic nutrition. So these organisms, they have the ability to prepare their own food. They can prepare their own food. They do not depend upon any other organisms for their food. Now these organisms are called autotrophs. Okay. Now they are also called producers of energy. Now why are they called so? Yeah, it's because they have the ability to prepare their own food. They prepare their own food, and hence they are called producers of energy. Okay? Yes. Now every organism, they depend on these plants for obtaining their food, or every organism depend on autotrophs for obtaining their food or energy. For example, we human beings, we consume plants, isn't it? Yes, so we get our energy from plants. Deer consume plants. So deer gets their energy from plants. So every organism in the world, they depend on the autotrophs to obtain their energy. Is it clear, students? Okay. Now, how do these autotrophs prepare energy? For example, how do plants prepare energy? What are the ingredients? How do they prepare their own food? What are the ingredients used? Yes, so we'll study that. Okay. So here in this figure, you can see a plant dressed in a chef. Isn't it? Dressed as a chef. Okay. Yeah, a plant dressed as a chef. And here the plant is going to prepare its food. Okay. Yes. Now what are the ingredients the plant has used to prepare the food? Yeah, it has used carbon dioxide. Look at this figure, students. Look at this figure. Look at the pointer. So the first ingredient the plant uses is carbon dioxide. Here you can see CO2. It is written as CO2. CO2 is a full form of carbon dioxide. What is carbon dioxide? Yeah, it is a gas which is present in the air, in the atmosphere. Okay, so what is carbon dioxide? It is a gas present in the atmosphere. So this plant, the first ingredient which the plant uses to produce food is carbon dioxide. Okay? Yes. Now what is the second ingredient the plant uses? Yeah, the second ingredient the plant uses is water. The plant has also used water. Here you can see. Look at the pointer, students. Here you can see the second ingredient, H2O. What is H2O? H2O is nothing but it is water. It is the chemical formula of water. Okay? Yes. So the second ingredient the plant has used is water. Okay? Yes. And there is one more ingredient the plant uses, and I'll tell you. Okay. So plant, here in this figure you can see a plant dressed as a chef and is preparing their own food. You can see today, here the plant is saying, today I'll show you how to make glucose with photosynthesis. Yes. So the plant is preparing its food. Now what is the food of plant? Yeah, the food of plant is glucose. The plant prepares glucose. So here the plant is going to prepare glucose by which process? Yeah, by photosynthesis. Have you heard of photosynthesis? Yes, photosynthesis is a method by which the plants prepare their food. Okay, so what is photosynthesis? It is the method by which the plants prepare their food. Now what is the food of plant? Yeah, it's glucose. So here this chef plant is going to make glucose, going to prepare glucose by using the ingredients carbon dioxide and water. Okay, so there is one more ingredient left and I will show you the other ingredient too. Okay, yes, so that is an autotroph. So here you can see a plant. A plant is going to prepare its food by using ingredients, that is carbon dioxide and water. And this process in which the plant prepares its food by using carbon dioxide and water is called photosynthesis. Is it clear, students? Yes. So, yes. So what is photosynthesis? Yeah, the autotroph. The autotroph, or for example the plant, they prepare their food mainly by photosynthesis. Okay, they prepare their food by photosynthesis. Look at this figure, students. Look at this figure. Here you can see a plant, isn't it? You can see a plant with 3 leaves. Yes. So here you can see there is sunlight. Sunlight is present here. The plant takes in sunlight. The plant is absorbing sunlight. And then you can see carbon dioxide. Look at the pointer, students. While I am talking, please look at the pointer. Okay? Yes. So here you can see carbon dioxide. Now the plant is also taking in carbon dioxide. And look at the soil region. In the soil you can see water. Water is present in soil, isn't it? Yes. So from the soil the plant is taking water. So what are the 3 ingredients the plant uses? Carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, water from the soil, and energy, sunlight. Solar energy from sunlight. Okay, so the plant uses mainly 3 ingredients to prepare their food. That is carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, now water from the soil, and solar energy from sunlight. Okay, yes. Now after absorbing all these 3 ingredients, they prepare what? They prepare food. Here you can see the leaf has prepared food. Look at the pointer, students. The leaf has prepared food. We know leaf is the kitchen of plant, isn't it? Yes, so leaf is the kitchen of plant. It is the place where photosynthesis takes place. Okay, so leaf is the kitchen of plant. So the plant has prepared food in its leaf. And also plant has prepared oxygen and it releases the oxygen to the atmosphere. Okay, so by photosynthesis, the plant has prepared two substances mainly, that is food and oxygen. Now food, the plant takes in the food and the plant releases the oxygen. Plant releases the oxygen. And this is the oxygen that we breathe. We know we breathe in oxygen, isn't it? Yes, we require oxygen to survive. And where do we get this oxygen from? Yeah, we get the oxygen from plants. So we shouldn't cut the plants. We have to plant a lot of plants. Then only we'll get oxygen to breathe. We can't survive without oxygen, isn't it? Yes, so we should plant more trees. Okay? Yes. So here, so this is photosynthesis. So in photosynthesis, what does a plant do? Yeah, the plant obtains its energy, solar energy from sunlight. The plant takes in carbon dioxide from atmosphere. The plant takes in water from soil. And with these three ingredients, the plant prepares two materials. What are they? Yeah, the plant prepares food and the plant prepares oxygen. Now the plant takes in the food. The plant keeps the food for itself and the plant releases this oxygen to the atmosphere. Now this is the oxygen that every organism in the earth breathe. Okay, so this oxygen is taken in by every organism. So we breathe this oxygen produced by plants. Okay, yes. So that is photosynthesis. So what is photosynthesis? So students, please note down here. In photosynthesis, plants take in water, water and carbon dioxide in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll, to prepare food and oxygen, So that is photosynthesis. Okay, photosynthesis. Now, why is it called photosynthesis? What does a word mean? Word photo means? Yeah, photo means light. Light. So here, the plant is preparing food by using sunlight. Isn't it? Sunlight is also required to prepare the food. And that is why it is called photosynthesis. Okay? Yes. And the plant also needs one more substance, that is chlorophyll. Chlorophyll. Have you heard of chlorophyll? Have you ever thought why does a plant look green? Why majority of plant looks green? Yeah, majority of plant looks green, and this is because plant has a pigment called chlorophyll. Okay, plant has a pigment called chlorophyll, and this chlorophyll is the reason why the plant looks green. Okay, so because the plant has chlorophyll, the plant looks green. Okay, yes. So students, please note down. Chlorophyll is the green pigment. Chlorophyll is a green pigment which helps in photosynthesis, and gives green color to leaf. Okay? Yes, so that was photosynthesis. So who does this photosynthesis? Yeah, plants. Plants does this photosynthesis, or some of the autotrophs does this photosynthesis. Now what is photosynthesis? Yeah, in photosynthesis, the plants take in carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and water from the soil in the presence of sunlight. And a green pigment called chlorophyll. To prepare what? To prepare mainly two substances. One is food and the other is oxygen. Is it clear? So I guess it's clear, isn't it? Okay. So we have discussed autotrophic nutrition, isn't it? Yes, so we have discussed autotrophic nutrition. Now the second type of nutrition is heterotrophic nutrition. Okay, heterotrophic nutrition. Now tell me, what is heterotrophic nutrition? Yes, it is a kind of nutrition in which an organism depends on another organism for their food. Okay, so what is heterotrophic nutrition? In heterotrophic nutrition, an organism depends on another organism for their food. It's not like plants. Plants can prepare their own food, but we animals, for example, take the case of human being. Can we prepare our own food? No, we can't. We have to depend on plants or animals for our food, isn't it? Yes. So we are heterotrophs, or we follow heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Okay. So what is heterotrophic mode of nutrition? Here, organisms depend on another organism for their food. Okay, students? Yes. Now, example can be every animals. Every animals and non-green plants are examples of heterotrophic nutrition. Okay, so they follow heterotrophic nutrition. So, students, please note down. Organisms depend on another organism for their food. Another organism for their food. These organisms are called heterotroph. Heterotroph. Example, all animals are non-green plants. Example, all animals are non-green plants. Is it clear, students? Yes. So, autotrophs can prepare their own food, but heterotrophs, they have to depend on other organisms for their food. For example, human beings and every animal. Okay? Yes. Now, mainly there are three types of heterotrophic nutrition. Okay? So, heterotrophic nutrition can be of three types. They are holozoic nutrition, parasitic nutrition, and saprophytic nutrition. Okay? Which are they? They are holozoic nutrition, parasitic nutrition, and saprophytic nutrition. Okay, I think you haven't heard these terms, isn't it? Yes, anyway, we'll study in detail. Okay, yes. So, please note down, students, the three types of heterotrophic nutrition are, holozoic nutrition, parasitic nutrition, and saprophytic nutrition. Okay? Yes. So, what is heterotrophic nutrition? Here, organisms depend on another organism for their food. They cannot prepare their own food. For example, every animals and human beings are all examples of heterotrophic nutrition, and they follow the mode of heterotrophic nutrition. For example, we human beings, can we prepare our own food? No, we can't. We have to depend on plants or animals for our food, isn't it? Yes. So, we are heterotrophs. Now, mainly there are three types of heterotrophic nutrition. They are holozoic nutrition, parasitic nutrition, and saprophytic nutrition. Okay? Yes. So, the first type of heterotrophic nutrition is holozoic nutrition. It is holozoic nutrition. Okay? Yes. Now, example of organisms which undergo holozoic nutrition are human beings and amoeba. Amoeba spelling, note down the spelling, students. A-M-O-E-B-A. Amoeba. Okay? Yes. Now, do you know what amoeba is? Yeah, amoeba is nothing but they are very small organism. They are unicellular organism. Unicellular means they only have a single cell. Okay? We human beings are made of many cells, billions of cells, but amoeba is made of only a single cell. Okay, so amoeba is a small unicellular organism and they do not have a particular shape. Okay, so they do not have a particular shape. Now this amoeba undergo holozoic nutrition. Okay, so I'll tell you how. So here look at the students, look at this figure. Here you can see an amoeba. Now, here this blue, look at the pointer, students. And this blue colored substance is the food of amoeba. It is the food of amoeba. Okay? Yes. Now, when amoeba see the food, what does it do? Yeah, it extends small feet-like or small arm-like structure called pseudopodia. I told you amoeba do not have a particular shape. So, they extend small feet-like structure or small arm-like structure called pseudopodia around the food. You can see they are extending small feet-like structure called pseudopodia. Pseudopodia, note down the spelling, students. P-S-E-U-D-O-P-O-D-I-A. Pseudopodia. P-S-E-U-D-O-P-O-D-I-A. Pseudopodia. Okay? Yes. So when amoeba, it senses its food, what does it do? Yeah, it produces pseudopodia and it engulfs the food material or it covers the food material by using the pseudopodia. Okay, and now what happens? The pseudopodia joins. Look at the pointer, students. While I'm speaking, please look at the pointer. Okay, so the pseudopodia joins. The pseudopodia joins, and so what will happen? Yeah, the food is taken in. The food gets into the body of amoeba. Okay, so the food is taken in by the amoeba. Now, in the fourth step, what happens? Yeah, in the fourth steps, this amoeba, the food inside the amoeba is being digested. Can you see the food in the fourth step? No, it is digested. It is digested into very smaller particles. Okay, now what is digestion? Yeah, I've told you earlier what digestion is, isn't it? Yeah, breakdown of complex food material into simple food material is called digestion. So the food is digested. Now what happens? Yeah, this digested food material has to be transported to every part of our body, isn't it? Yes, they have to reach every part of our body. So it is absorbed, this food material is absorbed and then it is transported to every part of body. Okay? Yes. And in the next step, what happens? This food material, this absorbed food material has to be what? Yeah, it has to be utilized to obtain energy, isn't it? Yes. So that process is assimilation. So assimilation take place. Utilization of food material to produce energy. Assimilation take place. Okay. And finally, what will happen? Finally, every food material that we consume are not digested. Now, some of them are undigested. Now, they cannot be digested. Some of them cannot be digested. So these undigested food material are actually the waste material, isn't it? Yes. So this waste material is thrown out of it must be thrown out of the body. Yes. So this waste material is thrown out of the body. That is, they are excreted out of the body. So that is the last process, excretion of undigested waste material. So this is what happens during a holozoic nutrition. Okay. So once again, at first what happens? Yeah, at first the amoeba takes in the food material, intake of food. Okay. Yes. And then what happens? The food material gets into the body of amoeba and it is digested, isn't it? Yeah, it is digested into smaller, simpler absorbable particle. Okay, so that is digestion of food. Now next what happens? Absorption. That is, the digested food material must be absorbed. It must be taken in and it must be transported to every parts of the cell. Or if it is in case of human being, every part of the human being. It must reach every part of human being. Okay, so that is absorption. Now next is assimilation. Assimilation means this food material which is absorbed is utilized to get energy. So that process by which the absorbed food material is utilized to gain energy is called what? It's called assimilation. Okay, so that's called assimilation. So here assimilation also take place. And finally, egestion. What is egestion? That is, every food material cannot be digested. They have to be removed out. Some of them have to be removed out. The undigested material has to be removed out. And this process of removing the undigested food material is called excretion or egestion. It's called excretion or egestion. Okay. So once again, note down, students. It involves intake of food, digestion, absorption, utilization of energy obtained, and excretion of undigested waste product. Example is human being and amoeba. Spelling of amoeba, A-M-O-E-B-A, amoeba. Okay. So digestion in human being we'll study in detail in the coming sessions. Okay, students? Okay. Now the next type of heterotrophic nutrition is parasitic nutrition. It is parasitic nutrition. Have you heard the word parasite? Yeah, some of you may have heard, isn't it? Yes. A very good example of parasite is a head lice. Here you can see the figure of head lice. Head lice. What is head lice? Yeah, it is a parasite which lives on the surface of our head. They live on the surface of our head. And what is their food? Yeah, the blood. Our blood is the food. Our blood is their food. So they feed our blood. Okay, so head lice is a parasite which lives on the surface of our head. And they feed on what? They feed on the food material. They feed on the blood. Okay, they feed on our blood. So what is parasitic nutrition? Here what happens is that the organism obtain the food from another living organism. Okay, so here For example, we human beings, we are living organism. And where does head lice obtain its food? Yeah, it obtains its food from human beings, isn't it? Human being body, isn't it? Yeah, they obtain the food from human being body. What is their food? Their food is blood. Our blood is their food. Okay? Yes, so they obtain the food from another living organism, that is us. Okay, so that is an example of parasite. So what is parasite? An organism which obtain food from other living organism is called a parasite. Okay, so students, please note down. A parasite is an organism which obtain food from other living organism. Okay? Yes. So here in the case of human being and head lice is the parasite. A head lice is the organism which is obtaining food from a living organism. Okay? Yes. Now, we human beings are the host, H-O-S-T, host. Host is the organism which provides the parasite with food. We provide the parasite with blood, isn't it? Yes. So, host is the organism which provides the parasite with food. Okay? So, here in parasitic nutrition, there are two types of two organisms, that is parasite. It is actually a relationship between two organisms, that is parasite and a host. In case of human being and head lice, we human being are the host. We provide the parasite with food, that is blood. Now who is the parasite? Yeah, head lice is the parasite. Head lice is the organism which obtain the food from a living organism, that is we human being. Okay, so here parasite is the head lice and host is human being. Okay, yes. So here in this relationship, parasite has a benefit, isn't it? Yes, parasite has a benefit. It gets its food from human being. Now, does host have any benefit? No, host doesn't have any benefit. Do we human being have a benefit from head lice? No, we don't have any benefit from head lice. So, in parasitic relationship or in parasitic nutrition, the host doesn't get any benefit. The parasite gets a benefit, but the host doesn't get any benefit. Okay? Yes. So, students, please note down. The organism which obtain food from a living organism is a parasite. From living organism is a parasite. Now the organism from which the parasite gets its food, is called host. It's called host. Host doesn't get any benefit. Host doesn't get any benefit from the parasite. A very good example is head lice. Example, head lice. Okay. So once again, what is parasitic nutrition? It is a type of heterotrophic nutrition. And here, the organisms, they obtain food from other living organisms. Here, the organism obtains food from other living organisms. A very good example can be the relationship of what? Relationship of head lice and human being. Head lice is a parasite which lives on the surface of the head of human being. Now they feed on human being blood. Okay? Yes. So here the head lice is the parasite. Head lice is the organism which obtain food from a living organism. So head lice is the parasite and human being is the host. We are the host. That is, we provide the parasite with food. So we are the host. Now, does host get any benefit from parasite? No, host doesn't get any benefit from parasite. Parasite gets a benefit, but the host doesn't get any benefit from the parasite. Is it clear, students? Yes. Next is saprophytic nutrition. Saprophytic nutrition. Now, what is saprophytic nutrition? Have you seen mushrooms? Mushrooms. Yeah. Now, where does this mushrooms grow? Yeah, mushrooms grow in dead and in the area where there are a lot of dead and decayed organisms, isn't it? Yeah, so mushrooms, they grow in an area where there are a lot of dead and decayed organisms. Okay, so those organisms which feed on dead and decayed plant and animal matter is called a saprophyte. Okay, what is a saprophyte? Those organisms which feed on dead and decayed plant and animal matter is called a saprophyte. And this type of nutrition is called a saprophytic nutrition. Okay, and a very good example can be mushroom. Here you can see mushrooms. So you know where a mushroom grows, isn't it? Yeah, they grow in area where there are large amount of dead and decayed material. Okay, so saprophytic nutrition is a nutrition in which the organism obtains its food or the organism feeds on dead and decayed plant and animal matter. Okay. Now these organisms are called saprophytes. Is it clear, students? So please note down. Saprophytic nutrition. In saprophytic nutrition, organisms feed on dead and decaying plant and animal matter. Dead and decaying plant and animal matter. These organisms are called saprophytes. These organisms are called saprophytes. Example is fungi. Mushroom is a fungi. Okay. Example, fungi. Okay. Yes, fungus is another class of organism. And here it includes mushrooms, bread mold. Have you seen bread mold and all? Yeah. Mushrooms, bread mold, all of these are included in fungi. Okay. Yes. So that is saprophytes. So there are three modes of heterotrophic nutrition. That is holozoic nutrition, parasitic nutrition, and saprophytic nutrition. Is it clear, students? Okay. So next is nutrition in plants. Nutrition in plants. So we have discussed the two modes of nutrition, that is autotrophic nutrition and heterotrophic nutrition. Okay? Yes. So now we study the nutrition in plants. Okay, students? Okay. Now I have told you that plants are the producers of energy, isn't it? Yes. Why are they called so? Yeah, that's because they can produce their own food and every other organisms depend on plants for their food. Okay. So that is the reason why plants are called the producers of energy. Okay. Yes. Now, different plants have different types of nutrition. They have different methods of nutrition. Now, based on the types of nutrition, there are three types of plants. So, based on the type of nutrition they follow, there are three types of plants. They are photosynthetic plant, insectivorous plant, and parasitic plants. Okay. So, what are they? They are photosynthetic plant, insectivorous plant, and parasitic plants. So, plants can be of three types based on what? Based on their nutrition. Okay, based on the method in which they gain their nutrition. Okay. Now, that is photosynthetic plant, insectivorous plant, and parasitic plant. Okay, students? Yes. So, please note down, students, there are three types of plants. There are three types of plants based on their nutrition type. Based on their nutrition type. They are photosynthetic plant, insectivorous plant, and parasitic plant. Okay? Yes. Now, what is photosynthetic plant? Yeah, the plants which get their food by photosynthesis. Here you can see a plant undergoing photosynthesis by using carbon dioxide, water, and then sunlight. So that is photosynthetic plant. Okay. So what is photosynthetic plant? A plant which obtains food by using photosynthesis. Okay. Yes. Now what is insectivorous plant? Insectivorous plant. Here you can see a figure, isn't it, students? You can see a figure. Look at the pointer. This is a figure of a pitcher plant. A pitcher plant. Now here you can see the plant is what? The plant is consuming insects. So here the plant is consuming insects. The plant consumes insects, and from this insects they get some of their nutrients. Okay. So those plants which consume insects is called an insectivorous plant. Okay. So insectivorous plants, what are they? They are the plants which consume insect. Here you can see the pitcher plant. The pitcher plant is consuming an insect. They are opening their flap, and the insects comes and sits on their top portion. And what happens? The pitcher plant closes the flap. Okay, so here what is the plant doing? The plant is consuming insects. Okay, and those plants which consume insects, or those plants which derive some of their nutrients from insects, is called insectivorous plant. Okay. Yes. Now what is parasitic plant? Yeah, parasitic plants are those plants which derive their energy from other living plants. We have studied parasitic nutrition, isn't it? Yeah, the same case. So parasitic plants are those plants which derive their energy from other living plants. Okay, is it clear, students? Okay. So first we have photosynthetic plant. So photosynthetic plant, I've told you they obtain their energy from photosynthesis. Okay, so they obtain their energy from photosynthesis. And what are the examples? Yeah, examples are those green plants. Green plants which have chlorophyll are examples of photosynthetic plants. Okay? Yes, so students please note down. Photosynthetic plants obtain food by photosynthesis. Example, green plants. Is it clear? I think it doesn't need any more explanation because I have explained photosynthesis very clearly. Okay? Yes. So photosynthetic plants are those plants which obtain their food by photosynthesis. Now example is green plants. Okay? Yes. So next is insectivorous plants. Okay, insectivorous plants. So at first you can see a figure. This is a figure of a pitcher plant. It is an insectivorous plant. Okay, pitcher plant. Now the second figure, it is a figure of Venus flytrap. It's also an insectivorous plant. Okay. Yes. So from the name insectivorous plant itself, we could understand that they gain their nutrients. They gain most of their nutrients by trapping insects or by consuming insects. Okay. Yes. So insectivorous plants, they gain majority of their nutrients by trapping and consuming insects and small animals. Okay, so that is insectivorous plants. Now, why do they do so? Yeah, it's because they live in an area where, they live in an environment where there is very less amount of nutrients. They do not get every nutrients from the soil. Usually, every plants get their nutrients from soil. But insectivorous plants, they live in an environment where the nutrients are very less in amount. Especially nitrogen. Nitrogen is a nutrient. It is an element which is very required or very essential for the growth of a plant. But insectivorous plants live in an environment where they are deficient of nitrogen, where nitrogen is not present in the soil. So they have to get nitrogen from any other sources. Otherwise they couldn't live. So they have to get nitrogen from any other sources. So they depend upon what? They depend upon small animals and also insects for their nitrogen requirement. Okay? So that is insectivorous plants. So insectivorous plants are those plants which get most of their nutrients, which derive most of their nutrients by trapping and consuming small animals and insects. So here you can see Venus flytrap has trapped an insect. Okay? Yes. Now why do they do so? That's because every plant requires certain minerals and certain nutrients for its survival. And they obtain all these minerals from the soil, isn't it? Yes. But insectivorous plants live in an area or live in an environment where there is very less amount of nutrients. Where there is very less amount of nutrients. So they have to, especially nitrogen. The nutrient nitrogen is deficient in the soil where insectivorous plants live. So they have to get this nitrogen from any other source. Otherwise they couldn't survive. So they depend on what? So they depend on small animals and insects to derive the nitrogen. Okay, so that is insectivorous plants. Is it clear, students? Yes, so please note down, students. These plants derive most of their nutrients by trapping and consuming small animals and insects. They live in nitrogen deficient environment. Example, pitcher plant and Venus flytrap. Is it clear, students? So once again, insectivorous plants are those plants, every plant require nutrients for survival and they get their nutrients from soil. But insectivorous plants, they live in a soil where there is very little amount of nutrients. especially nitrogen. Nitrogen would not be present at all in those soil. So they have to get this nutrients from some other sources, otherwise they couldn't survive. So they depend on small animals and insects to get this nitrogen. So that is the reason why they trap the small animals and insects. That is because they have to get nitrogen from any other source, because they don't get nitrogen from the soil they live in. So since they have to get nitrogen from any other source, they depend on what? They depend on small animals and insects for their nutrition requirements. Okay? Yes, so that is insectivorous plants. An example is pitcher plant and Venus flytrap. Is it clear, students? Okay. Now the third type of plant is parasitic plant. Yes, what is parasitic plant? Yeah, which undergo those plants which undergo parasitic mode of nutrition is called parasitic plant. Okay? Yes, so here they derive the nutrients from some other living plant. Example is Cuscuta. Here you can see, look at this figure, students, look at this figure. Here you can see Cuscuta. This plant is called Cuscuta. Now Cuscuta is growing on the surface of another plant, isn't it? Yeah, they are growing by wounding the surface of another plant. So that is a parasitic plant. So they depend on other living plant to obtain their energy. A very good example is Cuscuta. Okay, so in this figure, Cuscuta, it wraps around another plant and they derive the energy from this living plant. So hence it is a parasitic plant. Okay, so what's a parasitic plant? Those plants which derive nutrients from another living plant is called a parasitic plant. Example is Cuscuta. Is it clear, students? Okay. Now next is nutrition in animals. So nutrition in plants is over. There are three types of plants based on the nutrition type. That is photosynthetic plant, insectivorous plant and parasitic plant. Next is nutrition in animals. Nutrition in animals, that is animals also have different types of nutrition. They get nutrition, they get energy from different substances, from different organisms. Okay. So based on the food they consume or based on the nutrition type, animals are also of three types. They are, I think you are familiar with this. You have been studying from smaller classes. They are herbivore, carnivore and omnivore. Okay. So based on the type of nutrition or based on the type of food they eat, the animals can be classified into three types. Those are herbivore, carnivore and omnivore. So students, please note down. Animals are of three types. Animals are of three types based on their nutrition type. Based on their nutrition type. They are herbivore, carnivore and omnivore. Okay? Yes. Now, the first one is herbivore. What are herbivore? Yeah, those organisms which depend on plant for their food is called herbivore. Okay, so those organisms which only consume plant, is called a herbivore. Okay, so they consume the grasses as well as the green leaves of plant. Now, what are the examples? Can you name some examples of herbivore? Yes, goat, cow, then what else? Yeah, the deer are all examples of herbivore. Here you can see deer. Deer, they are eating what? They are eating grass. Okay? Yes, so those are examples of herbivore. So what are herbivore? Herbivore are those organisms which only consume plants. Example can be cow, goat, etc. Okay? So students, please note down. Herbivore depend only on plants. Herbivore depend only on plants for their food. Example, cow, goat, etc. Is it clear, students? Okay. Next is carnivore. Now carnivore, they are flesh eaters. They eat or they feed on the tissues or meat of other organisms, other animals. Okay. So they feed on other animals. They only feed on flesh of other animals. So that is carnivore. So carnivores are flesh eaters and they feed only on the flesh or the meat of other animals to get their energy. Okay. So students, please note down. They are flesh eaters. They only feed on the meat and flesh of other animals. A very good example is, yeah, lion, tiger are all very good example. Here you can see a lion. A lion is eating something, the flesh of some animal. So here, this carnivores are those organisms which only consume the flesh or the meat of other organisms, other animals. Okay? Yes. And you know, carnivores do have a very sharp canine, isn't it? Yeah, they have very sharp teeth. That is because they have to tear the meat, isn't it? Yes, so they have to tear the meat, and hence carnivores have very sharp teeth. Okay? Yes, so carnivores have a very sharp teeth. So students, please note down, they have very sharp teeth. Now these carnivores are also called predators. These flesh eaters are also called predators. Now the animal on which they feed are called prey. For example, we know tiger feeds on deer, isn't it? Or lion feeds on deer. So here tiger is the predator and deer is the prey. Tiger is the predator and deer is the prey. So these flesh eaters are called predators. The animal on which the flesh eaters feed is called what? It's called prey. Okay, so students, please note down. They are also called predators. They are also called predators. The animal on which the predators feed are called prey. Now example, tiger is a predator, and deer is the prey. Okay? Yes, so what are carnivores? Carnivores are flesh eaters. That is, they only feed on the flesh or the meat of any other animals. Okay? Now, to feed on this flesh or to feed on this meat, they have very sharp teeth. Now, carnivores are also called predators. Okay? And the animal on which the carnivore feed is called what? It's called prey. For example, tiger is the predator and deer is the prey. Okay? Yes. So, herbivore is, we have studied herbivore and then we have studied carnivore. Now, the third group of animal is omnivore. So, next is omnivore. And now, what are omnivores? Yeah, omnivores feed on both plants as well as animals, isn't it? Yes. So, omnivores are the ones which feed on both plants and animals. So, students, please note down. Omnivores feed on both plants and animals. Both plants and animals. Okay. Now, they have teeth and digestive system which help them to eat and digest both plant material as well as animal material. Okay. So, their teeth and digestive system, they are suitable. They are suitable for digesting both plants as well as animal material. Okay, so they have specialized teeth and digestive system which helps them to feed on both plant material and animal material. Okay. Now, can you suggest an example for an omnivore? Yeah, human beings. Human beings are very good example of omnivore. We consume both plants and animals. Now, another example is bear. Bear consumes plants and animals. Bear consumes berries and all. And also here you can see a bear consuming a fish. So bear consumes both plants and animals. So they are also examples of omnivore. Okay? Yes. So the three types of animals are herbivore, which consume only plant. Then carnivore, which consume only animal. Then omnivore, which consume both plants and animals. Is it clear, students? So we have a summary of whatever we have studied today. So first is autotrophic and heterotrophic nutrition. So the first one, the plant is what? The plant is an autotroph. That is, they show autotrophic nutrition. What is autotrophic nutrition? Yeah, here organisms prepare their own food. Example is plant. Okay. Now second one is a heterotroph. The deer is a heterotroph. What is heterotrophic nutrition? Yeah, they depend on other organisms. They depend on plants or any other animals for their food. Here, deer consumed what? Deer consume the plant, or deer depend upon the plant for their food. And hence, deer is a heterotroph. Okay, so autotrophs can prepare their own food and heterotrophs depend on other organisms for their food. Okay? Yes. And then we have studied what photosynthesis is, isn't it? Yes. So, how autotrophs produce food. And here, the plant is producing its food by a method called photosynthesis, by a process called photosynthesis. And here, what does the plant use? Yeah, the plant uses carbon dioxide, which is a gas from the atmosphere, then water from the soil, and then the plant uses sunlight. And this, in the presence of a pigment called chlorophyll, they prepare what? Finally, they prepare two materials. One is glucose or one is food material, and then they prepare oxygen. So this is called photosynthesis. So what is photosynthesis? Here, the plant uses carbon dioxide, water, sunlight, in the presence of sunlight, and then chlorophyll. Chlorophyll to produce what? To produce glucose and oxygen. So that is what? That is photosynthesis. Okay. And then we have studied the different types of heterotrophic nutrition. First one is holozoic nutrition. Look at the figure, students. This is the figure of, nutrition of amoeba. Nutrition of amoeba has holozoic nutrition. Then the second one, what is this figure? This is the figure of head lice. Head lice shows, it shows parasitic nutrition. They depend on other living organism for its food. The third figure is mushrooms, which shows saprophytic nutrition. That is, they live on dead and decayed organisms. Okay. So these are the three types of heterotrophic nutrition. Now, nutrition in plants are of three types. One is the first one. Look at the first one. Which is this plant? It is a pitcher plant. A pitcher plant is an insectivorous plant. Okay, insectivorous plants. What do? They consume insects. Okay, they consume insects and small animals. Okay, yes. Now, second one is an image of, it is an image of Cuscuta. Now, what is Cuscuta? It's a parasitic plant. It's a parasitic plant. They depend on other living plant for its food. Now, which is the third figure? The third figure is a figure of a photosynthetic plant. It is a figure of a photosynthetic plant. And these are plants which obtain their food by photosynthesis. Is it clear? Okay. Now, then we have studied three types of animals. The first one is, look at the first figure. It is a figure of lion. Lion is a it is a carnivore. Lion is a carnivore. You can see lion is feeding on a meat. They eat only the flesh of other animals. Okay? Yes. Second one is deer. Deer is a herbivore. Yes, deer is a herbivore. What do? They consume only plants. Here you can see deer is eating grass. They consume only plants. The third one is a bear. It's a bear. You can see bear is consuming berries and meat. Bear is consuming both berries and meat. That is, they are consuming both plants and animals. So they are omnivores. Okay, so this is what we have discussed today. So I hope you have enjoyed the session. You have understood everything which is taught today. Okay, so go through your textbook very thoroughly, students. Okay, so study very thoroughly. So I hope you have enjoyed the session. You have understood everything taught today. So thank you, students.